Hi there, welcome to another edition of Freeworld Heads Up with myself and Sanjoy on Monday the 22nd of August. We've seen a little bit of movement in the currency this week, I think, haven't we?
Yeah, that's right. On Thursday we had the first retail figures reflecting July, i.e. the first figures after the Brexit referendum.
Sure.
And they were pretty optimistic. We showed month-on-month 1.5%. Predicted 0.1%, year-on-year 5.4% as opposed to predicted 3.9%, so generally speaking, sales didn't fall off a cliff, which was one of the uncertainties that was around. But I guess it's like one of those things where people say, if they're feeling generally very pessimistic, well, that's all very good, but wait till next month, where it'll be like correspondingly worse.
Right.
Today we're trading at 130.90 for the sterling, which is quite a bit better than it had been. We'd got down to 28, I think, or maybe even under that. Okay. 128, 112.95. So the euro's holding up as well. That's really a reflection of everybody's been expecting the Fed to announce an interest rate. This has been going on for about interest rate hike. This has been going on for 3-4 months now, and it's all question of the Fed minutes came out. And people look at those minutes for the last decision, which is basically just carry on as we are. And people then examine the language of these, what was said in these meetings, the minutes. And people felt it was quite dovish. They felt that maybe the rates aren't likely to go up in the future. And I would say at the moment that the chances that the market's perception of further interest rates in increases in America is probably very low, less than 10% or 10-15%, maybe something like this.
Okay.
So sort of relatively good news for the UK economy, a little bit of euro strengthening because of less likelihood of an immediate US interest rate. I wouldn't say that we're getting more stable, less certain, but I would say that the level of uncertainty seems to have peaked. So, of course, we've got lots of other stuff in the background. We've got a referendum coming up in Italy, I think in late October, November, and we've got the presidential election.
Of course, yeah.
Things seem to be settling down a little bit in the political scene in the UK, though we've still got a lot of uncertainty about the Labour Party. Boris Johnson was in charge of things has been for about 3 or 4 days. Nothing awful has happened. So let's see, maybe we're reaching the bottom of uncertainty. Okay, so what about Turkey? I mean, there's a lot of strange political news coming from there, and the Hazels are sort of a demo of what might be going on in the entire country.
So the latest news coming out of Turkey, there's still very little coming from the farmers to the crackers and the shippers. Still not flowing like they'd expect just yet. And the latest news is that there's a lot of hazelnuts shell that are developing without kernels inside. So when they're cracking, they're seeing a lot of empty shells.
Right.
Normally they factor this in at about 10%, which is normally put into the figures, but they're seeing it a bit higher this year. And they're not really sure the reason behind that. It seems to be in the higher regions, in the upper altitude regions, that this is a problem.
Yeah.
But there's no particular reason as to why this is the case. That's why it's not really been expected. There's not much reason.
Bizarrely, this does sometimes happen. I came across this many years ago with a lentil crop, and I just got this mail saying we've been out and we've been opening some of the pods, and quite a few of them were almost empty. And I just dismissed it as garbage. Market tripled, I think, and that's with a high volume product. It does sometimes happen that the nuts, have got nothing inside. I've got no idea how that happens, but in this extremely uncertain situation, it's another bit of uncertainty in the fire.
Yeah.
There's nothing to learn from this because there's hardly any offer out there at all.
Exactly.
So we must meekly submit to our fate, I think.
Cashews are still kind of bundling along.
Yeah, cashews are still looking firm, and the question is, I guess in everybody's mind is, when will it fall? Normally, a few years back, it went to these kind of levels for 450, I guess it went to. Actually, the highest was probably about 460, 470 before crashing totally as demand just basically stopped. I wouldn't say demand is huge, but the problem is that there's there's not much stuff in the warehouses. People are playing a waiting game. What we do know is that the supermarkets are asking about Jan, Feb, March, and have already topped up to some extent their usage in the period before Christmas. So I don't know how much more demand there is to be fed there. It's one of those situations where maybe people are shorter than they think because maybe they aren't going to get some of their products,
right?
That kind of thing. It's a kind of stable instability at the moment. The raw cashew prices just going up. India is a big buyer for its domestic market, so situation in the in the European community is kind of immaterial now. Right. Same old thing, maybe our economy is damaged, but the rest of the world is carrying on buying nuts.
Yeah.
And of course, the big factor now, of course, is China, which does seem to be buying cashew. So there we are. We've had quite good response to the walnut video, which we put on last week. And I really think you should perhaps have a good look at it. It's a good opportunity to see what's around. Don't forget that the American stuff will probably not get here till December, by which time all this stuff should be packed and on the shelves. So revisit that video if you're in walnuts at all, and have a look and see. There are some bargains in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah, perfect. I'll put a link to the walnut video in the email as well, so you can check that out too. And thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.